Here there's a little Venn diagram that probably will remind many of us of the choice that we had to make after 10th standard, science, arts or commerce. Just that here it's tech, commerce or design. And the reason why I put this chart up is because that I believe that in today's day, any business, any profession, any work that I do, if I want to excel, I need to have a little understanding of all three of these. I need to understand what technology can do for me, which is what we are experimenting with Zoom and Facebook and Zoom breakout groups. And I need to understand a little bit of numbers and commerce, and I need to understand design. Now, when I showed this to my wife in the morning, Aarti, she's a fitness trainer, a Pilates instructor. And when she saw it, she said, you know what, I feel scared looking at this. I don't want to look at this because I don't want to have to understand technology. I just get really good at what I do, which is Pilates. And why should I understand technology? But then after we discussed a little bit, she realized that, even for her to be able to take her skill, her art form, which is Pilates and fitness to more people, if she can understand what technology can do for her and the opportunities that technology opens up, then she can work with someone who's a tech expert and at least she understands the language. Similarly, all of us as business people need to understand design. All of us as humans need to understand the language of design. If you're in any business, today's day, you are in the design business, right? This computer that I'm using, these little AirPods that I have, this is all technology, but it's also really, really awesome design. Here's an example of not good design, right? Boys, you can understand what the idea is, and I think everyone can understand why I put this over here. We land up in this situation in many aspects of our life. Let's say at home, in the way we organize our room, maybe our kitchen, maybe the cupboard where we store things, maybe the storage room, shoe rack, and even relationships. We end up with bad design sometimes because we haven't thought about it enough. So design is our life. It's every aspect of our life. There's good design and bad design. And bad design is just something that doesn't work, something that doesn't give us the satisfaction that it should. Let's say in our work life, sometimes we end up with bad design in, the way we keep our desk, the way we organize our desk or our files or our papers. There is design in our websites. Even a simple WhatsApp message that we put out, let's say for Explorathon, how that message is designed, what's the first line, what emoticons do I put, do I put bulleted lists, do I put numbered lists, and what's the last point? What's the call to action that I give? Even a WhatsApp message requires some thinking and design. And then there's graphics and images that I would put out, and there's social media. And then once again, at work and office, there are relationships. And all of these aspects of our life can either be good design or not so good design. And it's really not that technical. It's as simple as these two urinals. It's not really that technical. It's common sense that it's not going to make sense to put them over here. These two people are going to clash. So, design is really about empathy. It's about being able to understand the needs of someone else. It's about being able to understand the situation, the thoughts, the problems, the needs of someone else. That is the fundamental principle of all design. And truly, if you ask me, that's the fundamental principle of life. Not just design or business, it's about being able to understand what someone else is feeling or going through and what are the problems they're facing, what are the needs they have, and how can I play a role in that. I want to share with you something that has inspired me for a long, long time as a classic piece of design. A classic is one of those things that, fashions come and go, torn jeans come and go, flip-flops come and go, but a classic is something that, it has no time. It's timeless in a way. And one of those things that is a classic is something that I was introduced to in a report created by a gentleman called Charles Eames, who is an architect, a furniture designer, an industrial designer, and he was invited by the government of India to come to India and propose how design education should happen in India. And based on months of research and exploring and understanding the people, the concept of National Institute of Design, NID, was born. And this gentleman, Charles Eames, says this structure that you see on your screen right now is probably one of the greatest designs that humanity has ever seen. The humble matka, which has existed in our country for thousands of years. Charles Eames writes pages about the design qualities of a matka. He says that whoever would have designed it would have thought about the size, strength, and the gender of the hands that will hold this matka. Who typically carries a matka? It's these ladies in the village. He says that the designer would have had to think about how will this be transported. Will it go on the head? Will it sit on the hip of the lady? Will it go by cart, by bullock cart? Will it be put in a basket and taken? What will be the center of gravity and the balance of this matka? When it's empty, how will it sit? When it's full, how will the balance be? What will be the fluid dynamics? When you pour it, will the liquid pour without spilling? When I'm filling it, will I have enough opening for it to be filled from water from a well? The sculpture of this design should fit the palm of this lady's hands properly, and it should also fit the curve of her hip properly. And as she's walking, the movement of the walk, this design should be able to accommodate that movement without falling. What other uses might this matka have other than just storing water? What about the heat transfer qualities of this matka? Will it be able to keep hot water for a while? Will it be able to, when you put room temperature water through evaporation, it cools the water inside? How pleasant is it to look at, to touch, to feel? The materials, are the materials with which it's made locally available? How cost effective are they? Can they be used for storing edible food products? And finally, how does it feel to just possess, to own it? How does it feel to have this in your house? How does it feel to give it to somebody as a gift? Obviously, we are talking about a different era, a different society, a different place. But look at the amount of thought and perspectives that are involved in creating in a design that evolves as a classic. And I'm not saying that one person actually sat and created the matka. It's obviously evolved over hundreds, if not thousands of years. But the idea that I want to share with all of us here is that design is a way of thinking. Design is a way of understanding the world around me. And that's why I really emphasize that word, empathy. It's a way of thinking that in these times, let's say the lockdown times, what are people going through? Someone who has an elderly person at home, what are they going through? Someone who has difficulty with let's say physical movement, how are they handling it? And then not just feeling bad about it, but design is about empathizing and thinking what they're going through, and through what kind of thought process or through what kind of product or through what kind of communication can I fulfill some need. That, I believe, is the core of design. And I would love for all of us to be able to take this thought away today. From now on, when we hear this word design, let's think of design as design thinking, which is actually an entire field which has evolved in the design world, and the Stanford University is one of the pioneers in this field. I want all of us to think of design as an attitude. And whether you're an engineer, whether you are a commerce person, whether you are a homemaker, whether you are a scientist, all of us need to be able to understand the language of design, which is the language of empathy, basically. So that's what I would like all of us to be able to do, in our lives. Let's create more matkas. Let's create more timeless classics. Whatever we do, whatever work we are in, whether we are into retail or whether we are into cooking, let's look to create something that becomes a classic, something that really solves someone's problem and makes someone's life better. Just like that matka. Only let's do it by design and not by matka.